Here we are, Philly Uncensored Sports Podcast. It's a Thursday night, and the Four Horsemen is in the building. I'm surprised. We got participation from everybody, including myself. I'm shocked I'm here. But if you don't catch the live show, you can catch us on the platform.
Okay, somebody give us some kickback. Somebody give us some kickback.
Production quality is going down.
Like we wasn't just in here for like a half hour prepping the show, and then somebody still got
just for somebody to have some feedback. But y'all see, I got my mic stand popping too. But thanks to my son, he let me hold his clamp. But yeah, if you don't catch the live show, you can catch us on the platforms: YouTube, Spotify, Facebook, I think Instagram, iTunes. I think I'm right with all them. But it's a draft Thursday. NBA draft is in the building. Future prospects for teams, future prospects or future hopes for young players coming into the league. You know, all of them was probably watching the playoffs and the finals, and hopefully they got aspirations of being there someday. And there's been a lot going on around, not a lot, but a little bit of interesting things going on around the league. We had Jeremy Grant go to Portland. We could talk about how impactful we think that may be for that team. I think it may be a solid piece. I'm not saying championship piece, but we could talk about that a little bit. And the possibility of Kyrie reuniting with the GOAT of this generation, or possibly
James Harden
and LeBron James, or possibly coming like Tim said. I mean, that was one of the potentials. He mentioned like 5 teams he wouldn't mind. I think it was the Clippers, Heat, Lakers, Sixers, and I think it was one more team we're missing that he threw in there. So he threw out some prospects that he may go to if they can't nail down talks with the Nets. But I mean, let's.
You know the funny thing I say, you talking about the Kyrie since you own Kyrie. The funny thing is, I saw somebody posted. It was saying something like, "Yeah, all the teams that Kyrie will be interested in going to," and they was like, "But that's not to say that they would be interested in him."
I heard them say that.
Yeah, I mean, would you take? Who would? Would you take Kyrie with the Sixers?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Didn't James Harden just leave the Nets because of Kyrie?
Isn't Kyrie better than Harden?
I mean, I would take Kyrie over Harden right now, but
I'd take Kyrie.
But what would you?
I don't know. Kyrie been a part-time player the last 2 years, and at any point in time he can leave. He can leave to go to his sister's birthday party and just up and leave whatever else. I don't trust Kyrie.
The trust factor is.
I don't trust Harden on the floor.
Harden at least shows up.
Does he? He didn't show up last year in the playoffs.
Yes, he comes to play. Kyrie doesn't.
I mean, I'm not disagreeing with Wayne. He's a better if he comes to play, he's a better player than Harden.
Oh,
that's the question. If he's going to be there to play, which I think is of note to a lot of people. If you, because all right, let's talk about the Sixers. We're going to break down this couple of teams he wants to go to, right? Since we have Philadelphia's sports podcast, it's only right that our hopes and dreams may be that he comes here, right? Who will we have to give up? So you talking about they're not going to just say Tobias and that's it. They're going to want Tobias, possibly Maxey. Are you willing to give up Tobias and Maxey? Now, I know most people say, yeah, Tobias, go ahead, give him up. But are you willing to give up him and Maxey for Kyrie?
Yeah.
You tripping. We'd be in the same position.
We
just talking about how depleted our team is. Now you're going to give up our best young player. We just talking about how take who is with the kickback?
Who is doing that?
Tim, chill, bro.
It wasn't me.
He was rushing us to go live, and he ain't even ready for it.
And now the production is all love. You might as well restart the show. Restart it.
We good.
But so you want to give up Kyrie and Harden? I mean Kyrie and Harden. I mean Toby and Maxey for Kyrie. Ethan.
Do I want to give up? Yeah. Yes. You wouldn't?
So what's your lineup then? What's your starting lineup?
Kyrie, Harden in the backcourt. And then you got Embiid at center.
Mm-hmm. We know them. So now what's the other 2 spots? Who you got?
And then are we going after we about to get a PJ Tucker deal? He probably be
man. We ain't getting out the first round with that.
I don't want PJ Tucker.
They're looking. Embiid wants him.
So who's coming off your bench now?
Embiid wanted Brett Brown that last year Brett Brown was here. So I don't care what Embiid wants.
I agree. I'm keeping Maxey. What I seen from Maxey in the playoffs and then his desire to be better, I'm not saying he's going to be on Kyrie level, but I think he's going to be a fantastic NBA player. I'm talking
you gotta
about
give me a certified baller that's going to ball. Like if you're telling me you're giving him up for Kyrie and Kyrie's going to play every game and Kyrie's going to be available without all the antics, I'm doing that. But if you're telling me you're giving him up with it, I'm not doing that just for the possibility of Kyrie showing up half the games that he's available.
But them half the games, they different makers.
Yeah, guess what? And what happened when the restrictions went off and he played every game? What did he do in the playoffs? I told you it's a big difference when you play it 1 or 2 times a week and you putting up 40 points a game.
Harden played all year. Harden played all year. What he doing in the playoffs?
Yeah.
What does that have to do with trading Maxey for Kyrie?
He missing Wayne's point. Wayne's saying, remember Kyrie was playing every 2-3 days and he was
dropping 40 points.
50 and he dropped 40.
He wasn't.
He said it's a difference when you play every day.
He wasn't doing that. He wasn't doing that purposely. It was because of the situation.
Well, okay. If that was the case about just the shot, first of all, you was the same one that was ripping. Wasn't everybody in here ripping Thibault when Thibault didn't want to get the shot and didn't play in the playoffs? So Kyrie basically did the same thing for the whole season for them. And
but you know what? You know what?
But before this season, Kyrie was taking personal time off, saying he needed to get his head right for certain stuff, going to his sister's birthday party during the COVID lockdown.
I ripped Thibault because he didn't stand on that. He got one shot and then they got the other one. I respect him more if he ain't get the shot at all. Stand on it.
I mean,
don't say I'm not going to get the shot. Then you go get half the shot. You might as well finish
he got the shot. He got the shot because they portrayed it a certain way, and then when he realized that it wasn't what it was portrayed to be, he said, "No need to get it."
He already got it.
But he said, "I'm not putting the rest of that poison in my body." Listen, I'm not. Listen, well, however you want. I mean, if that's how you consider it, I'm not mad at you backtracking once you decided you might listen. What they say with
what's up, Surrey C?
They say with better, you do better. So if he felt he knew better, then he stopped. Some people felt they didn't want to take it. Then they said, okay, with more information now, I think it's okay to take it. And they felt they knew better and they took it. So I'm not knocking either way, however you want to view that with the whole shot thing.
Yeah, you can.
But Wayne is right. Even before this year, though, Kyrie had a problem with the being consistent and wanting to take time off. He had his religious reasons because he was fasting and he wasn't feeling up to snuff. But then some things was outside of that, where he wanted to, get involved more with social justice. And all that's cool. All that's fine if you want to do that. But at the same time, you can't knock a team for holding that against you and saying, at any given moment, you might have an epiphany and your direction of your life has changed in this direction. And you have to take that into account if you're trying to put a team around him to go to the finals and win a championship and you a GM or you owner of a team. Those are some things you had to consider. You can't knock an owner for considering that, just like you can't. I wouldn't knock Kyrie for saying, you know what, I want to be involved more in this, so I'm gonna take some time off. That's your prerogative. That is.
So that's
even though you're kind of violating your contract a little bit, but that's your prerogative. But it's also the prerogative of the owners to take that and hold that against you.
So Kyrie for Maxey and Tobias, that's a no for you.
I'm doing
Kyrie is moody. Sorry, C. I'm not trading Kyrie for Maxey. I mean, and Thibault and maybe a pick, but I'm not doing Maxey. No.
I mean, I'm not either. And my thing is now talent wise,
built right.
But you said exactly. So you're gonna make it even worse. So basically, you want to bring the dysfunctional Nets over here, minus the best player that was over there, which was KD. So we're gonna take the dysfunctional part of the Nets and bring it here. And
do you see the way the league is going? You see the way the league is going? Toby can't really play in this league no more. Nope. Harden is going to be hard for him to play in this league no more. Look at everybody getting drafted. These dudes is long athletes. The league is very athletic. We are probably the most unathletic team in the league.
And Kyrie is a great athlete? Kyrie is this great athlete that you're going to replace him with?
He a great baller. He be a better athlete than Harden.
But no, because you just talked about the athletes. Don't sit here and talk about the great athlete.
He is an athlete.
Now you're talking about he's a baller.
He is an athlete.
I know.
Can he even dunk?
Kid Harden?
Yeah,
Harden dunked last year in the playoffs.
Harden dunked in the playoffs.
It was one dunk. But
Listen, we need to get. I've been saying this for 2 years. The league is very athletic wings. We don't have any. We don't have one athletic wing on this team.
What does that have to do with Kyrie? We're talking about Kyrie. He's not an athletic wing.
But Kyrie get an athletic wing.
Then go get the athletic wing. Don't give me Kyrie.
Get Kyrie and get an athletic wing and get Matisse Thybulle out of here. He stinks.
Thybulle got to go. I agree.
To Ethan's point, I would get rid of Thybulle. I mean, look at Golden State.
I'll get rid of Thybulle too.
Curry's the least athletic.
I love me. I was jumping up and down when he didn't get traded with the bench trade.
First of all, let's stop because the whole thing with Thybulle came in because you was hyping Carson Edwards, who ball. He's a much better player than Thybulle. I don't even know if he's in the league anymore. Remember the dude that Boston got and you was so hyped that you wanted him because he could shoot 3-pointers, and I said Thybulle was a better player than him.
Did.
That's where the whole Thybulle thing came in.
Never got a chance.
Let's keep it a bean.
What's up, Ron L? I mean, listen, I agree with Ethan. I
want to get more athletic too. I agree.
If I could get Kyrie, I am, but I'm not giving up Maxey. But I would try to make moves to get Kyrie on the team. I do think I'm optimistic that he'll play the majority of his contract and play the games because he is a very at a certain point you do need. As much as you need that athleticism, you also need somebody who's a flat-out baller and very skilled at what they do. Kyrie is very skilled at what they do, at what he does. So it's you need that balance. Kind of like, I mean, we've seen the top teams. Most of the top teams had that balance where they had the skill, then they had the athletes. I mean, if you look at, obviously, as a team that won, Golden State is a gold standard. They had Curry, who's not the most athletic dude. He's an athlete, but he's more skilled. But then you had Wiggins, who is the great athletic wing that could play defense and score and run the floor, the whole kit and caboodle. So, you know,
he's like the only athlete on their team, right? It's like no, they got them young boys.
They got them young boys. They got Gary Payton.
But them young boys wasn't balling though. But them young boys wasn't the ones that carried them to that chip. That's the only point that I'm making about when we talk about these athletes. Now I do agree. I do want to get more athletic, and younger. That's why I like Paul Reed being the power forward than some of the other options that we had. But this my whole thing is let's be consistent with it. Like don't sit here and say we got to get this athletic wing, but then say let's go get Kyrie. You're talking about giving up all of our assets that we could do to bring anybody in here to bring in. Maxey is an asset. Maxey, because of that potential, if you're going to trade and if you're going to use Maxey in that, it better be somebody that's going to be of that caliber of that player that we need to put us over the top. Ooh. In my opinion.
This boy from Kansas, I gotta ask Reg about him.
Yeah, Christian Braun. Yeah, I was just looking at his numbers. 11 points.
His numbers. Is athletic wing. He's 6'6" guard.
Yeah.
And that being said, all these guys getting drafted, you ain't seen them do nothing in the pros yet. So I agree. This is what the league is drafting, but that don't mean that these boys is ballers yet.
I think,
and I'm not saying that they're not, but I'm just saying before we start talking about that. But like to Ephraim's point, when he's talking about Golden State had some athletes, but their athletes wasn't the ones that was balling out for them. Draymond was the big time ball. Is Draymond this great athletic player that's going down the sky and dunking on people? Klay Thompson ain't that great athlete like that, like no more. Steph Curry not this great athlete that's going down dunking on people and everything else. And they won with them being the catalyst. I mean, Wiggins is athletic, and Wiggins they won with all these other dudes. Freak. That's not.
This is my point. You need Wiggins is an athletic freak. That's why he can play defense as great as he did.
No, I agree with that. I agree. That's what I'm saying. I do agree. You need at least one of them dudes. And
right.
I was just talking to my son earlier today, and we was talking about, you know, if Golden State was to repeat, because I said they're a deep team. Who could they not lose? Wiggins is one of them dudes they could not lose. In my opinion, you could.
Ain't he up for contract?
You could.
Next year, he got one more year.
After the year. So honestly, I think you could stand up. Golden State could stand a better chance of losing Klay before they lose Wiggins, because Klay could be replaced by Poole, because they got Jordan Poole, they got Gary Payton II, they got Toscado Anderson, they Moody, Kuminga, they got a lot of young, but Wiggins, I think if they lose Wiggins, their final chances drops tremendously.
Dre, I gotta say Draymond.
No, he was top four. It was Draymond, Steph, Wiggins, and who did I say?
I think Drake could be.
And truth be told,
I think Drake could be replaced.
It's Draymond, Steph, Wiggins, and Kevon Looney. That boy Kevon Looney,
He did. He ball.
huge in the playoffs.
But to your point, what you're saying about who could be replaced, though, I think
Sixers just traded their number 23 pick to Memphis.
I knew that was going to happen.
For DeAnthony Melton.
For who
Is
now?
he athletic wing?
No.
DeAnthony Melton.
Okay.
That's what I said. I knew the Sixers were going. Listen, we knew the Sixers was trading this draft pick as soon as Brooklyn said they wasn't taking it. You knew the Sixers wasn't keeping this draft pick. Doc don't play those young boys.
DeAnthony
So why would
Melton
they draft
6'2".
somebody young? What'd you say?
He's
He what?
6'2".
He's 6'2".
I don't know no shoot dudes.
DeAnthony Melton is 6'2".
I gotta look him up.
He played 73 games for Memphis last year. He started. 15.
I gotta believe that he's gonna be packaged with Toby to make another move to bring somebody else.
X-Man, he can defend and shoot. What's his 3-point field goal percentage, Ephraim?
He averaged 10 points a game. His 3-point field goal percentage is 37%.
Man,
10 points a game ain't bad.
And 40% field goal, 30% 3-point, averaging 10 points a game, 2 assists, 1.4 steals, and 4.5 rebounds. And that's in 22 minutes of play. If you look at his per 36 minutes, we could pull that up. It probably would tell you a different story. I mean, even a better story. Per 36 minutes, he's averaging 17 points a game, 4 assists, 7 rebounds, 2 steals per 36 minutes.
Yeah. Listen, he might be an upgrade over Shake and Cork.
Maybe
honestly,
I think replacement.
Honestly, I think he's a bargain. Either he's coming in here so that they could trade somebody like Thibault or something like that, or somebody that they're talking and trade talks with wants him, and they're going to package him.
Ronell, you right. They all got to be moved, bro. They all got to be moved, Ronell. I agree with you.
Who what you mean all got to be moved? Who?
I said Milton, Korkmaz, Green, all got to be moved.
Why I do believe Green. First of all, Green is some value to trade him because he's not going to play next year. You're going to have to trade Green to somebody that's not worried about somebody that's trying to clear some cap space up in the next couple years to bring in a big free agent. Somebody like OKC, so somebody that needs some money on the books now because Green's not going to play.
That's so. They might
did y'all like
their contract on their books because they may be below the salary cap. Like
right, that's what I'm saying. Somebody like you could bring him in and it's going to be money on the books, but you know he's going to go off the books the next year after that.
Did y'all like the Portland trade?
I thought before we get to that, who do y'all think out of the teams Kyrie mentioned since we was on Kyrie? Because I do want to talk about that Portland trade a little bit. Who do you think he'll have the most success with if he joins?
Run down the list of the teams.
LA, both LA teams, both LA Clippers and Lakers, Miami, the Sixers, and the Knicks.
I say the Lakers. Him and Brian has history. Him and Brian got history.
I say the Clippers or the Heat.
I say the Sixers.
X-Man said the Clippers. Said the Sixers.
No, here's why I say the Sixers. If he comes to the Sixers and we don't have to give up Maxey, I start in
second. How you getting him? Then how are you getting him, Tim?
On the sign and trade.
Who are you trading?
He said no Lakers. Are you saying no to the Lakers or the Lakers?
Brooklyn's going to take Tobias because he's from New York. Let's bring it to Tobias.
Okay. None of the teams that he said he want to go to have salary cap room. None of them.
Let me. I don't know if Ephraim asked it this way. Let me ask it this way. I gotta go back and say the Lakers because I think that's the only bull Kyrie. LeBron is the only one that Kyrie will actually respect and probably listen to.
Hey, listen, that's what
I could lean with that.
I could see
my thing is the Clippers
Doc Rivers more than he would do.
I don't see nobody. They don't get along with Doc. No superstars get along with Doc like that, bro.
He would not do what he did what he did with this dude with the ball. What's his name? What's Nash? He's not gonna do what he did Steve Nash. He's not gonna do that with Doc.
They said he was running practices after practice. Did y'all hear that?
Who? Kyrie was running practices after practice?
They said after Steve Nash finished his practice, Kyrie called everybody and said,
wait. Real quick.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Real quick, because I got to go back and talk about this part. Remember when people was talking about this super Brooklyn team and I said they got a whack coach They got a dude that's not a coach that they want to put him in there, but everybody was, oh, they got so much talent. And I ain't saying necessarily just us, but it's like a lot of people. They got so much talent. They're gonna do this. It does make a difference who you have as a coach.
So you're gonna say Kyrie's gonna do the exact same thing he did here.
Kyrie,
anywhere?
Bro,
you saying anywhere?
I don't. What you say?
Anywhere he goes, he'll do it.
No, he wouldn't do
that.
I
honestly, I think LA is the best option for him because I think I also think that Kyrie feels as though he messed up with Brian the first time. Remember after that whole thing, and then he went back and he kind of said, like, you know what I'm saying, he should have looked at it a little bit differently. He kind of sort of apologized to Brian. Yeah. He kind of sort of apologized how he did that, and him and Brian cool now. So I think now the only problem with that is he going to be shaky because you already got AD who's a part-time player over there. So you're gonna have
that's the trade.
Brian needs somebody. Brian needs somebody that's gonna be there.
All right.
That's the trade. They would have to give up AD for Kyrie. That's the trade.
You
cannot outright sign them to any of those teams.
Nobody like Doc Greeny Green. I don't even know if his son-in-law.
If I'm LA, I think that's their best option. I would trade AD for Kyrie if I was.
We just drafted somebody. Sixers just drafted somebody named David Roddy from Colorado State. He's 6'6".
He ain't gonna play.
Roddy Piper. That's the bull who highlights I was just watching.
He looking kind of athletic.
He does. He got the long hair. He got the hair flopping around.
That being said, when does Doc play his young players?
Oh, he huffed on somebody something ill. Okay, he kind of looked like almost like a young, like a PJ Tucker type of dude a little bit though.
What's his name?
His name is. I just went off the board.
David
Roddy.
Sorry, what you saying? No, about like I agree that Kyrie is unpredictable and everything, but my thing is AD is too.
David Roddy, Roddy.
AD, his whole career has been in and out. So my thing is, if you're telling me,
we traded that pick. That's the pick we traded. That's not
us.
You
drafted him and then traded him. I'm that far behind.
Yeah,
come on, y'all with the false information.
We traded the number 23 pick to and we got Memphis joint. That they got.
Why didn't we draft Ball?
So we drafted him just to trade him.
To Memphis. They traded the pick. So,
but it's on my screen. It says Sixers pick. It says Sixers pick is in.
That was we traded.
That's how
they traded that pick. So they picked that for the other team, basically.
That's
we
what
got the 6-2 ball.
They picked. That's the person.
Why would you doing this?
Yeah, he did help on somebody. He better not be a player. He better not turn out to be a player.
If he a baller, I'll be mad.
He better not turn out to be a player.
Hey, X-Man, what young players do you think Doc should play? My thing is Paul Reed. I think Paul Reed should get more playing time at power forward. Well, I mean, and who you say, Bassey?
Yeah.
I think the problem with Bassey was he wasn't strong enough. Like, because he's supposed to be that big. I think he got moved around a little bit too much. But that being said, if he beef up and he make the adjustments, you got to give him some burn to see what he got.
What's up, Herb?
It's better than DeAndre Jordan was.
I'm questioning Daryl Morey, bro. Ethan been questioning Daryl Morey for a minute.
Y'all know
you haven't.
No. Don't sit there and say that. When it came to Morey, I always said
you did at first, but you trusted him with Ben, and that was your downfall.
I said that they cut the legs underneath Elton Brand, and that's what Doc said. They said they didn't need to bring him in. They brought in Elton Brand because they thought that his milk was better than anybody else's milk, and they found out he's a fraud. He's living in the past. So I always said Elton Brand got the raw deal. He had the job for 2 weeks, and then they got rid of him. They gave him a ball.
All right, so wait a minute. So people saying Melton can shoot and he can play defense. So is that a way of us shoring our bench up? So did we just trade a draft pick to shore our bench up? And if that's the case, I'm fine with that.
I'm not.
Why not?
I am a little bit, but I think, all right, if we trade an athlete, which we desperately need, for somebody who's just a good shooter, I'm not okay with that because
a shooter and defender.
Huh?
A shooter and defender.
I mean, that's solid, but I think we need an athlete more than that.
How much can he defend that?
Maxey's shooting over 40% from three.
How many people can he
35%?
How tall is Pat Beverly?
I don't know.
I don't care about Pat Beverly. Was getting crushed too.
Remember Pat Beverly was getting worked by Luka and they had to take him out the game?
That's my thing. How many people can he defend at 6'2"?
And Wiggins locked Luka up a little bit. Remember?
So we traded Green and the number 23 pick for Melton.
We traded Green too.
This stuff better bet. This better bet. Yep. He better have a long game. Long game.
I'm telling y'all right now, I have no faith in Morey. Even after the Harden trade, I have no faith in Morey. They were talking about today, and people were trying to clown. Tim sent the text message today, and they were saying how somebody mentioned what Ethan been saying and what I agreed. I think most of us agreed that I think the Halliburton trade would have been a solid trade for Ben. Morey didn't do that. He didn't pull that trigger. I think that team with Halliburton and who else was in the trade too? Was it Buddy Hill? Halliburton and Hill for Ben. And that would allow us to keep Seth and Drummond and draft picks and all this other stuff. I think that would have been a better trade. But I agree with you. Her Green could go. I'm not overly concerned about Green. I'm talking about I'm not sure about that dude. I don't know this dude. I'm looking at highlights. Highlights can be deceptive. You could break highlights look the way
X-Man and Herb saying that X-Man and Herb saying that Milton is athletic. That he's a sneaky dunker, that he's athletic, and he's
still 6'2". Is he Steph Curry? Is he Steph Curry? Is he Kyrie? I mean, what's the skill set? If you telling me that you drastically going to improve my team by getting a 6'2" dude, his skill set got to be almost through the roof. There's no cap there. Can he give me 20?
I don't know. He dropped 25 and 6 against Denver.
Is he a walking bucket? That's what I need him to be. I need him to be a bucket. If you 6'2", I need you to either be a crazy, like you said, Pat Bev type defender, or you need to be a walking bucket.
This dude, you know what? Now Six is gonna have me keep an eye on this dude, David Roddy.
They are. I'm gonna follow this boy at least for the first 5 years of his career, and if he paying out to be something, I'm gonna be irritated.
I'll just not another Zaire Smith situation.
I don't want Morey bringing in all the old Houston retreads. Stop bringing these. He give us 12 Chena backs.
I mean, everybody's saying he's a solid D3. I think that means he's
not a D3 guy. He's not a D3 guy.
How you know?
He's not a 3.
What, 37%?
But he can't. He's 6'2". How many positions can he literally defend? Let's be real.
2.
At best.
Yeah, I agree with that.
I mean, don't we need somebody that can defend?
Y'all keep talking about
don't we need somebody that can defend guards?
I mean, listen, but he ain't even started.
Harden and Maxey couldn't do it.
Yeah, so there was 3 liabilities.
Herb said one. Herb said he guard one position, and that's probably the one. I agree with that. See, that's my thing. This is why I'm not. You know me. I'm not a hater on the shorter cats. I think if you could ball, you could play. I'm
not either.
But can he be on that level? Like, you do need. We are starved for athletic Bulls that can ball. The only real athlete we have on our team is probably Maxey and Thibault. And Thibault trash.
And Paul Reed's an athlete.
Paul Reed's a bit of an athlete. I give you that. Now, beside that, we looking at Korkmaz. We looking at Harden, whose athletic ability is gone. Beat is a great athlete for a big man, but I mean, I'm talking about
Harden getting in shape. I'm leaving the jury out on that.
Toby, no. Milton, no. Cork, no. Who else? We starve for athletes here.
I mean, we gotta see. I think these moves is. I think it's
from the G League.
I think this is moves that they making. It gotta be something else in the works, because like we were saying earlier, it's
y'all
so many
keep
names.
Saying that. I keep telling y'all.
There's so many names and so many things going on right now where you got players like Bradley Beal ready to be out and trying to go somewhere else.
Bradley Beal going to LA.
Yeah, I think he's gonna try to play with Brian.
So you think Bradley Beal and Kyrie going there?
No, they only can get one.
How you gonna get that? How's he gonna get to LA? None of these things got drafted.
Bradley Beal said he will not forgive himself if he doesn't give himself an opportunity to try to win a chip, bro.
Okay, so you don't think that he had
opportunity? He has to win a chip. I'm gonna tell you the best opportunity after the draft. We all know it. It's Miami. It's the Lakers. It's even
man, you tripping. You give me Bradley Beal to go alongside with Embiid.
Even playing with KD in the Nets before it's coming here.
You out your mind. Him going to KD in the Nets, he do not have a better chance going to the Nets than he do if he come here.
No, I don't agree with that. I agree with Wayne. I agree with Wayne on this one. I think
Embiid that gets hurt all the time and Harden that can't play no more. That's his better option.
B played a full season last season.
He got hurt during the playoff.
And go play with Ben. That's what he gonna do. Go play with Ben in Brooklyn.
Yeah, Ben and KD.
No.
Okay.
I'm taking a chance.
There's another breaking news.
Uh-oh.
The Sixers has traded Danny Green and did we say that one already?
Yeah. He was a part of that trade. He was part of the trade. Danny Green.
I didn't know Danny Green was part of that trade.
Yeah, we said that like 5 minutes ago.
So I'm all right with that trade.
But I'm not if this dude listen, you need some young athletic energy, high energy cats. You cannot now. Melton's not old. Melton's not an old dude. He's younger.
Like Gary Payton the third.
What you say? Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Like Gary Payton the third, Kaminga. We need them.
So we don't need a backup guard. This the dude that stepped in and played when Ja was out and they were still.
We do.
Right?
We do.
So we don't need that position.
They said now X-Men is saying Melton. He said Melton gave the T-Wolves the business. T-Wolves is a good team. T-Wolves is an up-and-coming team. I think T-Wolves is going to be a tough out for anybody in the playoffs this coming year. He said Melton, somebody else said, it might have been X-Men too. They said Melton played very well when Ja Morant was out there and Ja missed them 20-something games, like 22, 24 games, and Memphis was balling. So, I mean, I'm not here to hate on him, but could we have still gotten him on the back end with something else, but kept our draft pick, kept the athlete dude?
See, this is where to me teams go wrong, and the Sixers went wrong. They're so focused on we got to trade that thing. Win now. We in win well mode. We can win the chip now, which we never know happens. You have to, but you have to still build for the future. You can do both. You can still do both. If they would have made the trade to get young with Halliburton and Hill, you're still doing both without giving away all your assets.
The only way they could do that is if your young players that you brought in, if Ben Simmons was the star that everyone expected to be, then yes, you could do that.
You could do that. You could have traded Ben and did it. You could have traded Ben and did it.
Possibly. You still hype on Halliburton. Halliburton didn't make the playoffs. Did he make the playoffs?
I don't care. What I'm saying is you're building. You can still get better and build for the future. You traded Ben. You traded a young Ben for an old guy. That was dumb.
I don't think Harden's done yet.
But Hill would have probably came off our bench though, X-Man, to knock down some threes.
Yeah, Hill would have been a bench player.
I wouldn't mind Hill coming off the bench.
I mean, I agree with Ethan. I think you could have did both. I think we had a prime opportunity. We missed our boat. It's and Green is saying we might be rebuilding after another second round exit next year, and he might be true. Halliburton,
they are.
X-Men, Embiid is your game changer.
That I agree, Ethan. This is what when you got look. I like Golden State. They had one legit game changer on a team, and that was Steph Curry. Now they had surrounded him with other solid, good NBA players with Poole and with Draymond. Draymond may be considered a game changer defensively. He's a great defensive player. I love Draymond's defense, and he can pass the ball really well. But my thing is, if you get enough solid players on your team, you can build young athletes. Maxey is borderline game changer. He's showing he has potential to be a game changer in this league. So you get Maxey, and then you trickle in the Halliburtons of the world and maybe another dude like this. Let's say we did still make the trade for Melton, or you get the young bull who we drafted. You can make. We missed a golden opportunity. Golden State seized their moment when Curry got hurt and they got on draft picks. When they missed Curry and Clay was out and they was trash for 1 year. They made the moves to get them back to the finals. And I think we had a golden opportunity with a dude who didn't want to play, and we still, even though I didn't think he should command high value, he still was commanding high value in the open market, and we blew it for one player who's old. We blew it.
But see, this is where I don't necessarily agree with y'all with certain stuff. Like, all right, I like Halliburton. I don't think that he's this great game changer just yet. Does he have potential to? Yes,
exactly.
But then, but like that's even like Buddy Hield and Halliburton. Like, all right, if they were that great, why wasn't Sacramento doing better?
Sacramento wasn't.
You know what I'm saying?
They weren't. They didn't have a lot of good.
They didn't have Joel Embiid.
Not only this.
Okay.
Take Halliburton. No matter what you say about Halliburton, he was an efficient scorer. Harden was very inefficient at scoring, especially in the playoffs. So if you put him and Maxey, that's two efficient scorers with Embiid.
So how efficient was Maxey in the playoffs against Miami? How efficient was Maxey? We didn't get the same Miami Maxey from regular season, did we?
We got a good Maxey.
Where was Maxey? Maxey didn't let us down in the playoffs against Miami.
It wasn't his greatest series, but they was more of a physical team.
But we talking about Maxey being his game. But that's my.
And what did Harden do? But Maxey's a young player. Harden is a veteran who play like trash.
I agree about that with Harden. Harden was out of shape and everything else. So I want to see what happened with that. But don't sit here and tell me Maxey's this future young up and coming
hold on.
game changer when he didn't change nothing.
So Harden's going to get better as he gets older, like LeBron, I guess.
I don't know if he gets in shape. I don't know.
He had a hamstring problem for like the last 3 years.
No, he didn't. He had the hamstring started up the year before this season. At the end of the previous season is when he pulled that hamstring. He hasn't had this hamstring problem for no 3 years.
I mean, listen.
I'm not a Maxey hater. I'm being real. I give Maxey props. I just said I wouldn't trade Maxey for Kyrie. How am I a Maxey hater? I just said I wouldn't trade Maxey for Kyrie.
No, you're undercover Maxey hater.
But I'm not a Maxey hater. But my point is, don't keep coming in here talking about like Maxey the future, Maxey this, that, and other. Where was Maxey at in that Miami? Where was Maxey at when B wasn't playing?
No, what they did was they stopped sticking James Harden, and they was actually putting the best defenders on Maxey.
Oh, so when he got faced with actual defense, he couldn't produce.
It wasn't actual defense. What they was saying, they didn't care about James. They was like, James is gonna beat James, so they turned everything to Maxey, and he wasn't ready. You don't think he's gonna be better next year?
The noise,
but that's why I said I'm not trading.
I agree. He said Wayne's the only Maxey hater in Philly. Wayne is the only Maxey hater in Philly.
I'm not. My
thing is Max. First of all, Maxey's a first time in the playoff player, and he actually did really well for the
first time he played in the playoffs last year. Remember, y'all was hyping him and saying he should have been playing all the games against
as a starter. It's the first time.
Yeah, okay, yeah.
No, he didn't start. Ben was starting. It's the first time Maxey started in the playoffs. Let me say that in the playoffs, and he did very well. Second year player overall. Harden has been in the league for umpteen years. Is it time to accept the fact that Harden is old and he's done? Just like we had to accept the fact. That's why Lakers had all these aspirations. Remember when Lakers got Westbrook and they had Carmelo and AD, everybody, oh man, the Lakers, they undisputed. It was people on talk shows saying they had 70% chance to go to the finals. People had them guaranteed walk-in. And guess what? We found out what was the problem. They was too old. They couldn't play no defense. They couldn't move. They couldn't sustain the long grinding season. Them teams will run the Lakers out the building. Harden are we coming to the realization that Harden's too old and we need to get more athletes?
Because right before he blew his hamstring out that year, he was in the MVP category. He was being discussed as an MVP, and he blew the hamstring out. And he didn't really because the NBA is the way it's been the last couple of years. He did not have this offseason to take that time off and to treat that right. So I'm not saying that he's certainly going to come out and put up old Harden numbers, but my thing is I don't know that yet. I didn't see him
just wasn't there. But just to go back on your Tyrese Maxey in the Miami series, first game he scored 19, second game 34, fourth game 21, 18, 9. He had one game where they had 9 and 20. So,
yeah, that's the game when they focus. That's the game when they actually play defense on him.
Don't sit there and act like Maxey didn't show up.
Is that the game when they actually played defense on him? The game when they didn't look at him as being the third or fourth scorer, when they just focused on him and said, we're not going to let this bull score no more. And he scored 9.
Listen,
that was a tough game. But outside of that, he had 19, 34 points, 21. He had 20 and 18.
Indiana will be.
Like I said, I'm not trading. Y'all the ones want to trade him for Kyrie.
Indiana will be
I'm not trading him.
seed next year.
No, I didn't say I traded for Kyrie. I said I keep him. I mean,
no, I ain't talking. I'm talking about Tim and Ethan. They the ones talking about some trading for Kyrie.
So we got AK, just like you telling us to keep that same energy about Harden, because K saying keep the same energy about Harden when he come back rejuvenated. I want you to keep the same energy with Harden come back looking like Harden from last year, or worse. Harden problem is Harden. You know who Harden is? No, Harden is. Harden is Allen Iverson. That's who Harden is. He had his best years as a baller, and he balled on natural ability, and he didn't.
I don't agree with that at all.
No,
I don't agree with that at all.
I'm gonna tell you why. He partied too much. Harden didn't keep his physical peak condition in shape enough to be able to maintain a certain level of play at a certain age.
I don't
he
agree with
partied
that
too
at all.
hard, and now we're seeing the results of this hard party. We'll see. And
you saying Harden? You saying Harden didn't work on his game? See, Allen Iverson just came in and played off of just natural ability. Harden worked on his offensive game. I don't know.
I didn't say game. I didn't listen.
Harden worked on his offensive game.
I didn't say game. I didn't. Let me be clear. I said worked on his body.
He did that too.
Body. Did he really?
That too.
How many times did you see Harden come in with fat suit Harden and then he tried to shed during the season and all that? You don't come in overweight working on your body.
You talking about the last couple of years? James Harden in his career, when his whole thing was about being stronger than everybody else, going to the basket, moving them, and then you tripping. You talking about the last couple of years? I agree, the last couple of years, but don't sit there and make it like his whole career was him not working out, not being in any kind of shape to ball.
So when he became superstar Harden is when he started doing like that.
Okay, so then you become superstar Harden and then you fall off. So okay, he's AI toward the tail end of his career. Then that's what we're saying. He became AI toward the tail end of his career. But now we're supposed to believe that now Harden going to come back and had his great season after he. I hope so. Listen, as a Sixers fan, I'm praying that he does. I'm not optimistic.
You know what makes me optimistic about it is the fact that he ain't pushing the issue to get that big time long term contract. The fact that he ain't gonna get it. Why won't he? Somebody will give it to him. This is the NBA.
He's actually gonna play it smart. He's gonna probably take a 2-year extension what they're offering, but then he'll get another 3-year extension. So he's gonna wind up with $150 million.
And he's gonna come out, get himself in shape, try to ball and get himself in shape to get that bigger money down the end.
Yeah. So I mean,
but he got to work for it.
You know what's harder? Once you. How old is Harden? Harden about what? 34,
33.
Okay, you know
that's not old nowadays.
But you realize it's harder once you let yourself go for the past 3 years to now think you're going to restart the engine. You keep talking
his last 3 years. It was last season, the season before this. He was his first year with the Nets. He was in MVP. He was in MVP discussions before he blew his hamstring. So
why did he blow his hamstring then?
Huh?
Why he blow his hamstring?
What you mean? Why he blew his hamstring?
Was he not in shape? I mean, that's what I'm saying.
You realize injuries do happen though, right?
No, I'm just saying. I agree, but now this hamstring injury has lingered on for an extended period of time. That's what I'm asking tough questions.
Right,
that's the point that I'm making is he didn't have the time to recoup that
conversation.
Okay, I agree. All right, so Ethan, so I guess most people think that either the Lakers. As we jumped on Harden, we kind of went all over the place. But I think most of y'all think that the Lakers or the Clippers or possibly the Sixers will be the top 3 teams for Kyrie. I think Miami would be a great landing spot for him too. To be honest with you, any team you put him on, if he balls, he's going to make significantly better. Yeah. I honestly think I think the Lakers to me is I think he'll be better with the Sixers and Miami than with the Lakers, in my opinion. Depending on what moves is made, but I think the Lakers will have to give up way too much to try to get hard. Kyrie, I don't even think he got enough to get Kyrie. But Tim is about to shut the joint down. He's about to shut the joint down. But Ethan made the point earlier about do y'all think Portland with the Jeremy Grant signing has made themselves at least a viable contender?
So basically you're replacing Jeremy Grant, you're replacing what's his name? McCullough with Grant, and that's going to put you over the top.
Well, they got
is that his brother?
Nikola
Jokic.
And Herb, you're right. Miami ain't putting up with that nonsense. Miami run a structured system.
I think it can help him because they play different. He plays different than CJ, different position. So they might mesh a little better. You know what I mean?
I mean, is that going to be enough to? But even if they measure
Magic City,
even if they measure better or different or better or whatever, is it enough talent on that team to go against Memphis and Golden State?
I don't believe in Dame
and Denver.
I don't believe in Dame. Dame, I mean, Dame to me don't love the game.
He was injured and he played in the Olympics on the messed up stomach. You gonna say he don't love the game?
Look, it seemed like he got a little too much going. He don't. I don't know if he love the game like that.
It's Darcy, and guess what? Miami might be cool with Kyrie. I don't think Jimmy would put up with Kyrie. You think so? You telling me Jimmy gonna sit there and see all the nonsense and all the stuff about Kyrie, like not, you know what I'm saying, just being a part? You think Jimmy gonna be okay with that? Wasn't he the same one that was calling Wiggins and Cat?
They said he never did that to Wiggins. He always liked Wiggins.
Yeah, okay. Now that's the narrative. Now that Wiggins wanted the chip. Story. Okay.
I can see Jimmy forcing a trade in this next season. To be honest with you.
I mean,
he might make it out of Miami next year.
Yeah. I mean, I can see that too, Tim. I agree with that. Somebody said Portland is a lottery. X-Men said Portland is a lottery team. Ethan don't believe in Dame. I still believe in Dame. I think Dame gonna come back. They still got Nurkic, who's a solid center, solid big man. I mean, I think they do have to make some more moves. This will now be Chauncey Billups' second year as a coach. We'll see if he built to be one of them innovative coaches like Monty Williams or like Boston coach. I forget his name right now. If he's going to be, he could be one of them guys that could build a team and motivate it through some quality draft picks. I got to see who they may draft or some other trades that they might make. I still believe in Dame. Dame to me is still a top 15 NBA player.
Let me ask y'all what? Let me ask y'all because sometimes
not all the time.
A dude's personality affect his gameplay. You know what I mean? Because Dame to me is more of a laid back type ball, and I don't want to say that. See, I don't want to take away from his personality and say he don't love the game like that. But he just when you see these other dudes, man, you see a little emotion from Dame. But I just maybe it's his personality that turned me off a little bit.
You just turned off because Dame didn't want to come here. You was mad because you said Dame don't want to win and let Dame rot in Portland. If Dame would have came here, all this you talking, you wouldn't be talking no more if Dame was here.
Exactly, Greeny Green. Dame strike me like that. That boy that's just
strike you like what?
Too cool to win. He said some dudes are just too cool to win.
Yeah, he's too worried about putting out albums and having rap songs on 2K and
y'all sound like y'all just mad that he didn't come to Philadelphia.
They like the ex-girlfriend. They hurt.
No. If I wanted Dame to come to Philly, I ain't gonna act like I did want him to come to Philly, but the way that like him sitting there talking, the fact that like, all right, compared to Bill, like Bill said, he wouldn't feel right if he didn't give himself a chance to win. Meanwhile, Dame over here, like, yeah, I'm in Portland. They love me here. I'm a guy. Yeah, I ain't got to go nowhere. And if he really wanted to win, he would make a move.
Piper 23. Piper 23 said comparing Harden. He said it's like Baron Davis and Darren Williams. Those big body guards fall off fast. And like Kyle Lowry, another big body guard. They do. Them big body guards do fall off fast when after all that pounding and they career.
So he had one off year, and now he fell off.
Sometimes he fall off fast.
I didn't want Harden.
Okay, yeah, one off year, and now he fell off. Okay.
I listen. I hope he don't. I'm not optimistic. I hope he blows out. I'm just not optimistic that he will.
Harden is 32 years old. He'll be 33 at the end of August. So he still got some life. He still should have some type of life.
Real quick, y'all. Before Tim shut it down, does Ben Simmons play next year?
No, he ain't playing.
No,
I saw him work. I saw him. All right, I got three quick hitters. Ephraim.
Okay.
All right. First, Shaq did a comparison with Penny Hardaway. Somebody was asking him who, if Kobe was comparable to Penny, and Shaq said that Penny Hardaway was just as good as Kobe. He actually was better than him initially because he took his team to an NBA championship in his first year. Agree or disagree?
Agree.
I do too.
Somebody in one of my chats said the Warriors just got the steal of the draft. Listen,
Patrick Baldwin Jr.
The Warriors know how to draft talent, bro.
They do. He's 6'10" and a half. See, that's what I'm saying. They grabbing up.
The Warriors just know how to draft. They do.
This is what I'm talking. See, this is the stuff that irritate me.
You don't know what they is. You just assuming.
Patrick, all right, I'm gonna pull up his stats.
This is the first time you heard this man's name in your life.
You're right.
No, but see, this is my thing though.
6'10"
You can find talent, and you can find talent. Why not draft one of these young athletic dudes with some promising talent? I don't get this team, this organization. That's why the dude sold his shares.
That's how the NBA. No, he sold his shares because he's buying into a gambling company. So he can't be an owner of an NBA team.
What's the name of the dude that they just they got? What's his name? All right, I'm trying to wrap this thing up.
What was your other point?
Right.
You had three quick points. You said about Penny and
all right,
and Hardaway.
Draymond Green pettiness. Okay, or not okay? Since the conclusion of the season, you got any problem?
It's fine with me.
I like it. I like it.
All them people. My thing is, don't come at it. If you gonna come at his neck, you already know how you. Draymond been an underdog, and I rip Draymond on a lot of stuff. But as a person, Draymond been an underdog ever since he came in the NBA, and everybody talking about what he can't do. But yet he still continues to be an integral part of a championship team. Talk your talk.
Yeah, every day. I say if you want to stop him from scoring, if you don't get mad if you can't stop him from scoring. So
I agree. I mean, all that hate that they got.
He a little bit overboard though.
Everybody, I know a lot of people, like Starscream said Draymond talk too much, but y'all gotta remember, bro, these boys hear everything. These sports and they talk every day. They talking and hating, and now guess what? He gonna talk, he gonna troll, he gonna do his hating, and I'm fine with it. Because he's not talking to us fans. He's not talking to other teams really. He might isolate a player here or there, but he's mainly talking to the talking heads, and I'm not mad at that.
The media that's mad that
he's
doing his thing.
Yeah.
Was it too much when Clay called the ball bum? Jaren Jackson.
Yeah, that's a little. Now you talking about other players, and nobody ever called Clay a bum.
It was like, but it was kind of funny. It was like the Christian way of kind of talking trash to somebody because he ain't cursed at him and nothing. It was like real life.
Hey, come on now. Boys call boys a bum on the ball court all the time.
He's bum. He was like, you bum. He was that had Clay hot.
Yeah, Clay hot.
But didn't he say that months ago though? Like
he said after they beat him in a regular season game. Clay should have said something about that after they knocked Memphis out.
Yeah, he should. He held it until he won a championship. I respect that though. What's your third point, Tim?
All right, finally. Are you taking Golden State or the field next year for the NBA title?
After this draft pick, I'm taking Golden State. No, I don't know. I got to look at this dude. But I think Golden State, to me, is still the favorite because you got to think that if they keeping this team coming back and they also getting pieces who was hurt, especially, what's his name? Wiseman. They getting him back. Now you're talking about players who are young and played a lot, have more experience like Kuminga, Moody, Poole. Clay is going to be another year removed from his injury. They always say it take at least a whole season plus another season a whole season to get fully back. So this will be the rest of the season. Next year, he should be coming in feeling fully back. In my opinion, Golden State is the favorite right now, bar none.
How can you play all of these players? All these players won't get minutes? All the players you name? You don't think they're going to lose? You don't think they're going to lose anybody in free agency or in the offseason?
I mean, if they do, the play, let's say the core though. The core is Wiggins is staying, Clay's coming back, Poole is here, Curry's there, Draymond's there, Wiseman is there, Kuminga's there, Moody's there, Kevon Looney's there. So I'm talking about 9 players right now who.
No, I get that.
Yeah,
but my thing, I agree with Starscream though. I think Denver's going to have Porter Jr.'s coming back and Jamal Murray coming back
injury. I agree with that.
Kawhi's coming back. Kawhi's coming back for the Clippers. So I mean,
Kawhi's a walking injury, and
I think the Pelicans are going to be better if Zion plays.
Yeah,
I mean it's a lot of other teams that's going. That's why it's hard
Zion's
to take
a walking food.
Memphis might even come back and be better. But I agree. Somebody on here said that too. Memphis talked a lot of trash. I ain't got no problem with anybody talking trash to Memphis.
I forgot they was dancing all over.
They was talking a lot of trash.
Y'all was twerking on him. What's he doing?
Yeah, it was funny though.
Yeah, Java, remember all that? You whoop that
Yeah,
trick and all that, and they job dancing and all this stuff. They got the little going.
No,
That's
that
okay.
joke was-
Everybody talk trash. Everybody talk trash. So I'm not mad.
Yeah, they
at
got to
them.
eat that now. You got to eat
They
that.
gotta eat it.
That's different though.
Yeah, exactly.
They got to eat it. They got to
All
eat
right.
it. It's all fair in the game.
That's
So
cool.
next show, let's just do this before we close out. We gonna talk about our top 10. That's been a huge thing.
All time.
Is Curry in the top 10? Who's in? Who's out? I got a couple names I'm gonna throw out there next show that may give y'all a little. That may have a lot of these basketball aficionados questioning my sanity because there's a couple.
Bill Russell out of there. I mean,
there's a couple people I may pull out, but I have the stats and the reasons to prove it, and I did my homework. I did my research on a lot of this, so I'm gonna speak with some authority on who's in and who's out. But we do have to set a criteria. I think this show and anybody who's listening, we should set a criteria for which you at least have to be considered to be in the top 10. Because you could argue all day about the ifs and if you would have had this team, or if Phoenix would have drafted Barkley or Bulls would have drafted Dominique. You could if all day. But we have to go off of what we have and what's tangible. What criteria are we going with? Do you have to have at least one or two finals? I mean, finals wins. At least how about at least two rings? Is that we agreeing on that?
They have to have at least NBA 2. I don't know if I agree with that, but if you do have more than one title, that should move you up.
Listen, we talking about the greatest of all times. You have to have at least not the greatest of all times. I think 2 rings.
Okay, so you at least got 2 rings. Do you have to have now? Y'all know me. I'm not big on the whole how many NBA first teams and
you need an MVP
and finals MVPs or league MVPs. How many league MVPs? How many finals MVPs do you need?
You need at least one MVP.
One league MVP.
I don't know about the MVPs. That's
MVP.
why you have to have at least 2 rings.
Because that answers the question you're saying.
Yeah, but see, it's my only thing when you say rings. Somebody could win 1 ring as being the dominant person, or you could win a ring like being the secondary guy, like you wasn't that dominant dude that won that ring. So just because you win rings on the team, now if you're telling me that they're the person, they're the catalyst, they're the person that carried the team to win a ring twice, okay. But just winning a ring twice, you could have won one in your twilight years, like putting up corny numbers.
Like I didn't even realize Gary Payton won a ring until they were like,
exactly.
He won with Miami.
He won with the Heat. And I'm like, that don't count.
I forgot about that too.
That's what I'm saying.
I forgot about that too.
That's why I said you at least need to have 2.
But that's what I'm saying about 2 as the dude, not just saying you was along for the ride.
Yes.
Well, if you're the top, which top 10 greatest was along for the ride on these rings?
Yeah, it's no top 10 that we're gonna put in there. That wasn't the guy. I don't think.
Tim Duncan was along for the ride on. It's like, let me stop.
Kobe.
He legit won at least 2 of them.
You know what?
On his
Bill Russell, I don't think Bill Russell was ever the guy on offense. He was the guy defense and rebound, but as far as scoring the ball,
he
was never the guy.
That's one person.
Was he the guy on defense when Wilt was heading them? Never mind.
All right, y'all. We're gonna wrap this.
Bill Russell was one of the guys that I talked about that.
We're gonna talk all about this. We'll be building the criteria throughout the week.
No, we're going to jump on it, but that was just. I do think one last point that I think you, as much as I don't like the voter, I'm not always in agreement with the vote on awards. I do think if you're a great player, they probably got it right in your behalf at least once. So I do think you should have at least 1 league MVP, because a lot of times they get it wrong. Like we saw this year, I felt Joel Embiid should have won league MVP and all that kind of stuff like that. But more often than not, if you are that great, you probably have at least 1 league MVP. So I do think you can put that into the discussion. As one of the criteria.
When he was averaging 15 and 30, he had somebody else on his team averaging 20 and 10. Just think about that.
I mean,
and the 15 and 30 against all the little guys when he played against like Wilt, he wasn't getting, even if he was getting 50, Wilt was dropping 30 and 30 on him. So yeah.
Yeah, I'm telling you, Starscream. Do me a favor, Starscream. I want you to do two things. Go look at Bill Russell's games and his highlights. I actually looked at his highlights. His highlights is 90% dunks. Because if you show him, if they
and
show
wait, real quick, let's qualify. He averaged 15 and 22 rebounds. It wasn't 30.
Yeah,
Will average like 28 or something crazy like that.
Yeah, and I'm telling you, listen, we did. If it's a lot of stat people don't know about them crazy rebound numbers, right? The highest rebounding team this year was the Minnesota Timberwolves. They got about 3,000. I think it was around 3,500 rebounds for this whole year. In 1959, 1960, the teams were averaging, or Boston Celtics got over 6,000 rebounds in 75 games. So they had double the chances of rebounds coming off.
Because dudes was bricking
for these players to get them. So you got to take that into equation. Like most people see these inflated numbers, they like 23. So in my estimation, a person who averaged 20-something, let's say 22, 23 rebounds in today's game, it would probably be more like 12 or 13, to be honest with you.
And let's not get it twisted. Boston's team beat Wilt's team. Wilt dominated him in those finals. Look at his numbers against Wilt numbers in regular season. He shot 37% against Wilt in regular season for his career. Look at those numbers. Him against Wilt.
We gonna get into that.
He outwatched Wilt. All of this next week, y'all.
We're gonna crunch the numbers. We're gonna crunch the numbers. So I'm just giving y'all a preview. Get y'all rules together, get y'all players together, because I'm coming for everybody's top 10s. All these players.
And invite all y'all. Invite all the old heads. You know that Bill Russell was. Invite all them to watch because they can get some too.
And we want to see y'all top 10 as well. So y'all want to make sure you have y'all top 10 ready inside the comment section. Don't forget, next Thursday at 9:00, we'll be here. Like, comment, and subscribe. Hit that notification button. We're going to catch you on our next podcast. We out.
Deuces. Peace.